Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. I'm Stephanie Fisher. I'm a licensed counselor here in the state of Michigan, and I am owner and operator of In Progress Counseling. Today we're going to talk about kind of how front-loaded anxiety can be during transitions. And we're going to tie into that idea of uncertainty. And uncertainty is this place that we grow in skill development there to tolerate uncertainty, which is a cornerstone of a lot of mental health work that we do. But tolerating uncertainty doesn't account for how much energy we actually use to try to organize when things feel significantly uncertain. So there's a paper back in 2012 that was really helpful. It pulls in the laws of entropy to psychology, and it really hasn't been developed much further. I've seen just a couple more papers come down the pike about that idea of entropy versus entropy being used in behavioral science. But one of the presuppositions is our level of anxiety goes up, or our level of felt stress goes up, and it's subjective. What it is for you and what it is for me might look differently. But the greater the uncertainty, the more distress we would subjectively be feeling. And so this law of entropy would say, and a lot of energy expenditure, both cognitive and behavioral energy, is going to go towards managing that uncertainty and trying to make order out of that uncertainty. So where this relates in transitions is early on in the process of anything that we're new at, there is likely going to be this load put on us to try to create order or try to create next steps, but we're still really early in a process. And when we're really early in a process, the felt sense of anxiety or the felt sense of stress is going to be quite a bit heightened when compared to later stages of that same process. So we've talked on here about being a beginner and learning to be a beginner. This is talking kind of mechanistically about why tolerating distress as we begin something is actually quite vital, because it's just going to be more stressful. And I feel like we intuitively might know that, but putting a little bit of kind of framing around that, it could be really helpful if you're stepping towards something new and you're feeling really disoriented or dysregulated, or maybe even some of that paralysis is happening. It's like, I can't move, it's too much. It's like, well, probably because it is a lot, especially if you're at the front end of a process. So over this last week, we're processing through with my cohort how our dissertation preps are going. And I had said to my cohort members, I said, I think I'm very clear on what I'm talking about, which is lovely, because that's been about 3 to 4 months of development, just getting the concept together. But I said, as I've put my proposal together, I've stumbled on about 836 new tasks I didn't know I needed to tend to, so I'm feeling pretty annoyed right now. And annoyance was my word, that night, versus, right now it's just overwhelm. There's some fear there as well, like, oh man, am I going to be able to get it all done? There's this timeline now that's happening. There's these people that I need to invite in and say, hey, take me seriously. But I have a lot of work to even get to the place where I can launch a project, right? So my brain is going through and starting to put together, maybe hyperbolic, maybe actually accurately 836 tasks that feels really stressful. Now, every next step I do, it alleviates some of that stress. Number one, because I'm getting closer to the goal. Number two, because I have fewer things to tend to, because everything I check off is actually going to be one step, one fewer things I have to accomplish. But third, and this is what's so interesting, the more I see myself doing it, the more my confidence grows that I'm going to be fine and I can do it. So it's like, there's the behavioral piece, there's that self-talk piece, there's that fear piece, there's that idea of like objects in motion stay in motion. So when I see myself in motion, I get kind of resolved and confident and grow in competence. And it's like, oh, I can do this. But at the front end, that paralysis or that hesitance or that overwhelm or that fear, it makes a ton of sense, because conceptually I have 836 things to be doing. Again, maybe hyperbole, but it actually feels like it's an order of magnitude more than what I thought I would be signing up for here. The point being, every task I handle is going to be helpful, but while I'm handling those initial tasks, I'm going to feel some type of way about it. Now, I'm a positive person by nature. I'm 3 years into the program, so it's not like I'm riddled with anxiety about, that part of life. But related to this task, that uncertainty, my brain is trying to make sense of it. My cognitions are trying to make sense of it. I'm trying to get myself organized yet. And so the law of entropy says even getting myself conceptually oriented in this space, it's going to actually require a lot of me, a lot of energy, a lot of conceptualizing, and then the execution. The further I get, the more confident I will feel, the more comfortable I will be. At the front end, though, yowza, it can be a lot for us to try to metabolize.